Annyeonghaseyo, welcome to Afternoona Delight, where Leah, Megan, and Amy, three American romance novelists discussing all things K-romance from a writer's lens. We fangirl over our favorite actors and actresses, talk up our trope addictions, and nerd out on K-drama deep dives. We'll throw in a few K-pop and K-skincare recs for good measure, because why not ride the Hallyu wave all the way to shore? So grab some tteokbokki and listen to your new favorite unnies.
Hey, everybody.
Hello.
Hi there.
So, Amy, what are you celebrating today?
So, the end of June, the beginning of July is a big celebration time for me. And it's not because my birthday is the beginning of July, which it is. It's July 1st. But it's really because of the 9 days before my birthday and the 9 days after my birthday, which puts me in a cosmic sandwich of Lee Min-ho and Gong Yoo. So right now when we're recording, it is June 22nd in the United States. It's June 23rd where Leah is in Australia. But it's June 22nd for me. So since it's June 22nd for me, it is still Lee Min-ho's birthday, 9 days before mine. And then 9 days after my birthday, on July 10th, is Gong Yoo's birthday. So I can't think of a better time of the year other than these next 20 days.
Amy, you're in a sex sandwich.
I am. I'm in like the best sandwich ever.
So how old is Lee Min-ho?
35.
Okay.
Respectable.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, clearly we've talked about our floor. So, which actually, speaking of our floor, well, I'll be making a K-pop recommendation later.
Seriously.
And one of the members, so I sent a link to the music video to both Amy and Leah earlier today. And Amy just
They're not in middle school, are they?
No, he's older than Rowoon, so
he's 29.
Okay, fine.
And Amy was I don't know, were you excited that he was 29?
No, I was like, what are you doing? You're making it hard for me to keep my floor where my floor is. Yeah.
Is your floor over 30?
It was. But then I started watching tomorrow. And I think it dropped down to 25. So really anything goes at this point, as long as they're legal. God.
Yeah.
It's getting bad.
God, no. You gotta have some floor.
No, I do. I have floor.
18 is legal.
No. If Rowoon did not look so much like a full-grown man,
it's true.
It's just, yeah. I mean, no way would I date somebody who's 25, but I'm going to severely admire what I see on the screen. There you go.
That's fair.
Yeah, but Lee Min-ho's 35, and Gong Yoo's going to be 43, so I feel safe in that sandwich.
So what's your zodiac sign?
Cancer. So Gong Yoo and I are Cancers.
But Lee Min-ho's on the tail end of Gemini. Is that what's happening?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. So Megan, do you know any K-drama celebrities that, share your birthday?
No. There is, my daughter's really obsessed with AT's birthdays. She gets very excited. And one of the members has a birthday the day before hers. And she loves to tell me, randomly. We'll just be in the car and she's like, his birthday's on March 23rd. And I'm like, okay. Not even a part of the conversation.
Who is it? Which member?
Yoonho.
Oh, well, fantastic.
Yeah, she's just excited to tell me.
Can I just tell you really quick? I just want to clarify that Lee Min-ho is the first day of Cancer. So we are all three Cancers.
Ooh.
Oh, okay.
So I'm in a Cancer sandwich. So
Cancer sandwich.
Yeah. Which is a sandwich you want to be in as opposed to the other kind of Cancer.
Right. Zodiac Cancer sandwich with Lee Min-ho and Gong Yoo.
Lovable crabs. The only kind of romantic crab.
Yeah.
Anyway, I really want to share my birthday twins. So yeah. I share a birthday with Jung Kyung-ho, who is our favorite, tsundere doctor from Hospital Playlist, the cardiac surgeon, who is also the guard with a heart of gold in Prison Playbook that we're all watching. Yes. So, he is not my oppa, though. Unfortunately, he is coming in a solid 4 years behind me on the choo-choo train, but that's
not
okay.
Bad.
Not bad. I mean, given my floor is hovering around 27, 28, kind of floating loosely in that place. I mean, yeah, God, he's great. Bring him home to mom. And then speaking of not a floor, below the floor in the basement where, you know, bad thoughts happen. Jung Jungkook, JK from BTS, his birthday's the day after mine. So
I did not know that.
Yeah, big boy's turning the big 2-5 this year.
Oh, God. He's turning the big 2-5.
Wait, so what's your zodiac sign again?
I'm a Virgo.
Virgo, that's it. Okay.
Yeah. So I'm in a virgin sandwich with these two. Unpack that as you will.
The big 2-5.
I know. He was born the same day. So he was, unfortunately, I know a lot about the day he was born, not because I'm on like the JK bandwagon. I try to keep a respectful distance as like a babysitter. But I started university the day he was born because university started on my birthday in 1997. And it is also the day that Lady Diana died in the tunnel car crash.
By the way, she and I share a birthday. Princess Di has my birthday, July 1st.
I bookend that with the end of her life being my birthday.
That's pretty crazy.
It is crazy. So anyway, that was all happening the day that JK emerged squalling into this world. I was starting my first day at the University of Montana, Missoula, back in 1997.
Good old 97.
All right. Well, segueing from...
Yeah, how are we doing this? How are we segueing into
You don't
this?
even have the wind chimes.
Yeah.
I don't. I just have my water bottle lid.
Sorry for that, everybody.
Everyone's like, ow, my eardrums. I need to get some sort of bell in here. I'll look for something.
So, you know, our floor is flexible, as are profit margins for companies.
Oh, God.
Oh, God. Everyone's like, I'm turning this off now.
How about we want what we want, be it
Even if it's Subway.
someone turning the big 2-5 or Subway. And if you watch it on TV long enough, you make justifications to why it's okay.
Even if it's Subway.
Yep. Or someone who was born the day you started university.
There we go.
Okay. So as anyone who watches a K-drama or 100 quickly learns, product placements are pervasive. Some viewers, like me, find them a little charming. Others dislike them, complaining that their presence makes the shows feel like an hour-long commercial. Known in South Korea as indirect advertising, most phones, cars, sunglasses, coffee shops, and beverages that appear in the average K-drama are intentional product placements. And cable television stations that air K-dramas and or variety shows are profit-based. So as a result, they tend to rely on funding from product marketing, more so than maybe other media outlets. Fun fact that Amy came across was that free-to-air Korean stations were prevented from inserting commercial breaks during programming from 1973 to 2021, meaning that ads could only be shown before and after a broadcast. And that forced many companies to get creative about getting their products in front of viewer eyeballs. This law was changed in 2021 and struck a blow to those who advocated for viewer rights, but it appeased stations seeking more ad revenue to help their bottom line. These days, broadcasters may show one commercial break for programs lasting more than 45 minutes and two for over 60-minute programs. If a show is longer than 90 minutes, one commercial break will be allowed every 30 minutes, but the total number must not exceed 6. Also, a commercial break must not exceed 1 minute in length. That's interesting, and it almost puts me to sleep with too many numbers, and I just wonder, like, who's got the fun job in life of figuring out, like, exactly down to, like, the 60-second mark, what's allowed and what's not allowed, because somebody's got that fun job. So finally, as Korean dramas have become more popular with international audiences, global brands have also begun to push in to be part of the action.
Product placement in Korean shows really got underway as we know it today in 2010, when South Korea's broadcasting laws eased restrictions on the practice in an effort to increase network revenues and promote Korean goods. In 2018, South Korea's networks sold $114 million worth of product placement, up 15% from the previous year, according to Subum Lee, a mass communication professor at Incheon National University. But let's be real, it's rarely integrated all that organically, and sometimes it results in the fourth wall being broken. The 3 to 4 minute Domino's pizza ad in Hometown Cha-Cha-Cha had the actors openly giggling. Then who can forget Goblin, where Kim Shin infamously saves the life of a suicidal man with a 6-inch Subway sandwich. Be Melodramatic is a drama that addresses the issue in an openly meta way, where one of the characters works for a product placement agency and is responsible for getting actors to incorporate things that are contractually obligated to promote, often with hilarious results. This is also a plot point in Because This Is My First Life, where the lead character dreams of becoming a television writer. When she lands a job in the industry, her assignment is to shoehorn product placements into the scripts of dramas.
The majority of advertisements that appear on K-dramas must comply with the regulations outlined in Article 59-3 of Korea's Broadcasting Act. Regulations of PPL in entertainment include: Number 1, the goal should not be to persuade the audience to purchase a product. Number 2, the name of the product and/or brand cannot be directly or indirectly said. 3, alcohol, tobacco, and any other related product cannot appear as product placement. 4, appearances of products and/or brands cannot exceed 1.5% of the runtime of the program.
There's that fun person with the stopwatch.
Right? Seriously. That's somebody's entire job. Number 5, the size of the product and/or brand name cannot exceed 1/4 of the screen. If it is mobile media, then it cannot exceed 1/3 of the screen.
So do they have a little tape measure too? Yeah, probably.
Number 6, if there is product placement in a program, it needs to be disclosed to the audience. Korean marketers have found clever ways to push the boundaries of these regulations without breaking them. For example, while an actor cannot explicitly say, buy this product, they can hold it while making a joke or be dramatic to bring attention to the product naturally.
All right. So to kick things off, let's start with Maxim Instant Coffee. These ubiquitous sachets are found in so many dramas, from My Mister to Vincenzo to Me Sang to Secretary Kim to Touch Your Heart to literally every single one. Seriously. You can also add a visit to the Maxim Plant Cafe in Itaewon to your Seoul itinerary. It's 5 stories and every floor has its own theme. You can see roasting on one floor, then head to the library floor that has a terrace garden and a, wait for it, library, then a cafe floor with an open terrace and a fancy U-shaped counter, and travel reviews recommend getting an Americano and toast with cream cheese, as the bread has a texture of croissant. Then there's a brewing lounge floor where you can pick coffee prepared just to your taste. And all that being said, you know, we've all gotten into Maxim to some degree. So what pushed you over the edge with this instant coffee, and what are your general thoughts?
First of all, I really want to go to this plant, so badly. There's a freaking library there. I'm all in. But I think the first place that I saw it was, surprise, surprise, in Crash Landing on You, the very first drama that I watched. And I remember it was when Hyunbin, Captain Ri, was meeting with another, a North Korean soldier who was a higher up. And he was trying to investigate his brother's murder. And they were trying to figure out, what he was doing there. And they offered him a coffee, which he declined, and they pull out these skinny little packets. And I was like, what? I don't understand what that is. I have never been big on instant coffee, but I kept seeing it pop up so much in dramas that I finally found a variety pack on Amazon, which I think you guys had already tried it by that point. But I was so excited to try, a bunch of different flavors of Maxim. And I have to say, I like strong coffee. I drink strong coffee for my morning coffee, but Maxim is this sweet little evening treat that doesn't have enough caffeine to do anything to me at night. And so I don't think of it as coffee as much as I think of it as a nice little hot beverage that tastes like coffee, but is a little bit sweeter. But yeah, I drink it all the time now, which is funny since I never drank instant coffee before.
So, surprise, surprise, I guess I'm sort of a coffee snob. So my history with the beverage might surprise you both. I did grow up in the 80s and watched the grown-ups around me drink Sanka with those aspartame tablets. I don't know, Amy, you might still remember these. I had aunts that had little clickers, and they would.
Yes, I do. Yeah. Totally.
And
you drop one in.
Yeah, you drop one into a styrofoam cup often when you want to get, your little, I guess, decaffeinated kick with, 0 calories attached. And then if you want to get real footloose and fancy, you'd crack open a tin of General Foods International coffee. So, again, Amy, I think maybe you're more remembering this than Megan, potentially, those fine flavors such as Cafe Vienna.
I do remember those commercials. Yeah, I've never tried one, but I remember the commercials.
I've tried them. They were good. They tasted like donuts. And I remember the commercial where there were the two ladies. They've got killer bangs, and they're reminiscing about like youthful travels in Paris, and the waiter Jean-Luc, all over a steaming cup of instant coffee. So I spent a lot of my 20s backpacking around with my then boyfriend, now husband. And, when we were camping out in the wilderness, we would drink instant coffee, which was mixed with condensed milk. And it came in these containers that were almost exactly like a tube of toothpaste. It was like brown and white, basically. But then I became a grown-up, all my joy left, and I became a serious woman who likes very serious coffee, particularly pour-overs of single-origin roasts made by a barista who has suspenders and twirly mustaches. But then K-dramas came along with their little, skinny bags of coffee, and I started craving that like old-fashioned instant goodness. So I ordered some kind of as like a personal joke to myself, but the joke was on me because I liked it. And I would say it's more like hot water is doing an interpretive dance of coffee, but in a way that is easily drinkable and very pleasant. And these days I often have Maxim Mocha Gold Mild, at least a few times a week. But I do not drink 2 at a time while facing the wall because I am not in my mister.
I feel like it was 3 at a time sometimes. Like it was a lot of Maxim.
She was trying to sustain herself.
That was all she had.
Yeah.
Is to steal the Maxim from work.
Yeah. So, I mean, let her have 6, really.
Go for it. Go for it, IU.
So who sent me the variety? It was Amy.
Me. Yeah, I sent you guys both a variety pack. I think I didn't know that Leah had already tried it because, like Leah just said, she tried it as a joke to herself.
Yeah, so I had never tried it, and you sent me a variety pack, and I freaking loved it. I mean, I will say, first of all, I'm actually not really a coffee snob. I mean, I buy, cheap donut shop coffee pods. I don't like McDonald's coffee and Sheetz coffee, and that's about it. I kind of I'll kind of drink coffee if it's coffee. But I just really enjoyed the ease of the packets, and it tasted really good. So I buy the same. I buy the box of 100 of the Maxim White Gold. And I mean, at this point, I've bought maybe 4 boxes. I have a bin in my pantry I fill, and then I put them in this little thing by our kettle.
So when guests come to visit, are you like, will you like some of my fancy coffee?
I've offered and no one ever wants it, which offends me, but my husband even drinks it now. That's really surprised me, but he actually really did kind of like the flavor. And I like it too because I make it basically after dinner. It's kind of almost like a dessert for me, and because it's a little sweet and it doesn't have as much caffeine, so it doesn't keep me up. So yeah, I honestly really want a tour of the Maxim plant. It sounds so fun.
That's 100% on my list when we go.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, so what is a favorite product placement moment for you in a K-drama?
I think my favorite is a favorite because it's so bonkers, and it's the CELLRETURN LED mask in The King Eternal Monarch, because it's such an excessively extra product to advertise in a K-drama, because who could actually afford it other than the King of Korea with a C? And let me just say, when I put this in as my example, I did not realize that we were going to be recording this podcast tonight on Lee Min-ho's birthday, which I'll probably bring up 100 more times. But so it's kismet. But yeah, I mean, we looked it up, and I didn't look it up again, but it was thousands of dollars, right, for this mask. It was a couple $1,000s. So I just thought that was really funny to have as product placement, because the 2 people who could maybe afford it, watching the drama, don't need product placement to know what that product is, So yeah, that was, I mean, we all remember it, so there is that, but I'm not running out to buy one.
Yeah, I've seen them.
I probably would if I could, though.
I've seen them out now and been like, ooh, there's the thing. But yeah, there's other things that I need to spend that money on right now than that mask. But, the temptation's real because I want to look like Lee Min-ho, too. And obviously, right? If I wear that mask, I will.
I want to look like I just turned 35.
So I find product placement in shows kind of adorable, but one time that was so over the top that it made me weirdly invested was in Touch Your Heart, which Amy, I don't think you've seen yet, but Megan has seen. So this is a moment when Lee Dong-wook's character, who is a very grumpy workaholic lawyer, he just leaves the fact that he's in a drama altogether and ends up doing this 5-minute commercial touting Chanel Men's new makeup line. And he's just like applying this like expertly applying his makeup, and he looks fabulous. It just doesn't seem in fitting with the character that he is in the show.
Right, because he's like talking, he's like, this lip balm makes my lips so soft. And I'm like, who are you talking to? And no one cares.
And he's not a glam character.
It's so funny.
Like, you know, it'd be different if he was like way extra, or just like, you know, I'd buy Ryan Gould even, like from, you know, My Private Life, like, you know, doing his face. But this character just like wasn't that guy. However, at the end, I was like, I will not forget that Chanel Men has a new makeup line. And, you know, I've got many questions about it. And it was also kind of just refreshing to see a man doing his face. So.
Did he ever say Chanel?
No, he didn't. But it showed lovingly. The camera made love to the Chanel, you know, logo on all the foundation and lip balm.
So I've talked about this before, but I just, you know, my favorite product placement, because it's totally bonkers, is Lee Dong-wook as Lee.
Oh, again, Lee Dong-wook is again, like, great for this.
As Lee Yun laying on the pavement in Tale of the Nine-Tailed after saving Joe Boa as Gia from falling off a building. So mind you, he's just arrived from nearly dying in hell, yet he's wearing a brand spanking new, like, Vans, the shoes, colorway. And his legs are, like, perfectly bent to show off that, like, Vans iconic, like, square root line logo.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget it. It felt so, it took me out of the scene because it just felt, but I loved it. Like, I absolutely loved it. That's when I was like, I'm so suckered into this drama because it's crazy. I want to give an honorable mention to King, the Eternal Monarch, when Kim Go-eun basically talks about that Kahi, like the lip balm.
Face stick. Yeah.
It was a face balm.
Yeah.
It went everywhere.
And in all honesty, like, I haven't ordered it yet, but I want to. Like, I do too.
I've looked it up.
I'm really fascinated by it, and, you know, good.
She's dewy.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, her face looks great, you know.
She could cross through universes and be fresh face thanks to the Kahi face stick.
Yeah.
Okay, so look, I guess the line is fine between, like, love and hate, but what's a favorite, like, cringy or very clearly self-aware product placement moment?
So, like you, Leah, like, I don't mind product placement at all. I mean, obviously, we find it endearing. We're doing an entire episode about it. We're not here to yuck the product placement, but sometimes it is a little bit much. And I'm going to go with Papa John's in Suspicious Partner because, like, half the drama takes place inside of Papa John's because it's his mom who works there, right?
It's both their moms.
One manages it and one just works there.
Yeah.
Isn't it something like that?
Yep.
Okay, so both the moms work in Papa John's. And, like, this was my go-to fast food pizza in college. But I'm pretty certain that Papa John's funded this entire drama. Because to have that much screen time, like, I don't know if that follows the math that we just talked about, because that was a lot of screen time.
I feel like it took up more than tiny parts of the screen, too. We had, like, full camera.
I mean, right, if you're inside the Papa John's, doesn't that count as the full screen?
Well, no, because it must not, because we can go inside Subway, we can go inside so many of the bakeries, so many of the chicken shops. So
yeah, there was a lot of pizza serving, a lot of pizza eating, and a lot of time spent inside Papa John's in Suspicious Partner.
And Suspicious Partner had nothing to do with pizza.
Nothing at all.
Okay, you might think historicals don't have much in the way of product placement, but you thought wrong. In Mr. Sunshine, there's many ways that product placement were subtly used, but in one that really kind of jumps out, Aishin and Hida are having tea in the Glory Hotel. They're in their frocks, they're having kind of this battle of the wits, and we're at the dawn of the 20th century. Yet if you look on the wall behind them, there's a stenciled logo for Dulcom Coffee, a trendy South Korean lifestyle coffee chain. So if they remake Gone with the Wind someday, I hope that Rhett Butler tells Scarlett, frankly, I don't give a damn, with a vintage sign for a Starbucks in the background.
I can't believe I didn't know that.
That's awesome. I didn't notice that at all.
Yeah, if you look at the pictures, you fully see it. And then there's other advertisements for the coffee as well, like hanging up on the wall.
That's pretty brilliant, I gotta say.
I mean, I guess that's true. How do they get in modern product placement in these historical dramas? I guess I never really thought about that.
And there's some French bakery shops that they go into in the drama that are like modern French bakeries.
Oh.
But like, you know, they've like redone the like signage to make it look old fashioned.
You mean like that? They actually go to that French bakery all the time.
Yeah. That's product placement.
Oh, my eyes are opened. I did not know that. Oh, I'm fascinated.
That's pretty impressive.
I know, amazing.
Yeah.
So, if you could pick a sponsor for Afternoona Delight, what would it be and why?
I mean, I'm just going to go with our standby Maxim coffee. Look, I really feel like we could help you sell your coffee in the United States. I'm more than happy to talk about how good it is. So, yeah, I think that would be the one I would choose, especially because I drink it all the time.
Right, we're already giving them free advertising.
Oh my God.
Like so many times we've talked about Maxim coffee.
I love it. If I run out, I panic, and when I travel, I throw the packets in my suitcase.
I travel too. I have Maxim coffee in my bag here in Australia that I brought with me, even though I can probably buy it, here too.
I mean, if the CELLRETURN mask wants to sponsor us and let us give the mask a go, I'm not opposed to looking like I just turned 25, 35, whatever. I'll take either one. But
you know what? If it works, I would give you the best before and after
seriously.
pictures you've ever
Seriously.
seen.
And I would be like, buy one. Buy one. Mm-hmm. But, we haven't talked about it in a while, but we were talking about Soko Glam a lot in the beginning of our drama days. And we all have spent a goodly amount of money on Soko Glam. And rightfully so, because it's wonderful, like Korean skincare and makeup and stuff like that. So that would be a super fun one to get to sponsor us, because we're already buying all the products. And
oh my gosh, I just got an order from Soko Glam recently. Now I order from them very frequently.
I've got my my tomato lip jelly or lip tint or whatever you call it here. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Every day this is with me. I love it.
Okay, so I'm going practical, and that's Dyson, because Amy is already on record on the podcast for being a fan. Secondly, it's really in many dramas.
Yes.
Even Seri, who's an actual billionaire, wows the North Korean soldier ducklings with her cordless Dyson vacuum in Crash Landing on You. So, Dyson, scoop us up. We are ready.
I'm telling y'all, my Dyson V11 cordless pet vac is my favorite appliance. I love this thing. In I'm Not a Robot, he loves his Roomba. It is...
Oh, what did he call it in I'm Not a Robot? His sweetie?
Lovely.
His lovely. His lovely.
My Dyson is definitely my lovely. Mm-hmm.
It's your lovely.
I think I talked about it when we did that drama too. Talked about what our love is.
Yeah, I think you did too. I mean, you've talked about the Dyson more than I've ever heard anyone talk about, except for my sister, who has a Dyson and also loves her Dyson and talks about it.
I have two Dysons. Oh my God. I have a ball vac, and then I have the cordless one. I use the cordless one now.
Do you ever just do it at the same time? Dyson.
Double fist in the Dyson.
This could be an OnlyFans situation.
There's just a lot of words here that can be reinterpreted.
Yeah. That ball vac, I'm sure, is heavy, and it's hard to push a ball vac.
God. I just had a huge sexual harassment training today at my new job with literally a lawyer talking to us, because I'm part of, so for anybody who doesn't know out there, I left public education. I'm now working in the corporate world, and I am part of basically the talent management team, which is pretty much what human resources is like now. And so we were having this training as the team where people most likely would come to us to give sexual harassment complaints and stuff like that. And I'm wondering how much of my outside life, if coworkers were to partake. But this, it's your choice. You don't have to be here.
That's what I was going to say. I was going to say, Amy, you're consenting to me talking about.
I am 100%.
Big heavy balls.
Big heavy ball vacs.
Ball vacs, because you're here, and that's just
I am not saying that I do not consent. I'm just laughing that it is coming on the day of a very legal training.
Yeah. So do not talk about heavy ball vacs at the workplace.
At work. I won't. If anybody's what did you do last night? I'm not going to say heavy ball vac. I'm going to think it, though. Just know it's in my head.
I like it smooth. It can sometimes pick up hair.
I like to roll it over the hair.
I feel like I'm 11. I'm she said ball, heavy ball.
Oh my gosh.
Is that a Dyson ball vac in your pocket?
That's a very big pocket.
What let's move on to our favorite part of every episode, which is not heavy ball vax or sax or smooth my balls or any balls. It is our K-pop.
I've heard that's who we want to sponsor us. Smooth my ball.
We had that opportunity and we let it pass us by. Smooth my balls. Afternoona Delight. Do you like your balls as soft as a newborn baby rat?
I did not consent to this part of the show.
Okay. And actually, this leads me to one last funny segue, which is on our Patreon, I had a post that I thought would be fun to do, which is like yell at us for things that like, you know, you hear on the Patreon that like you wished you hadn't, or like feelings that you've had or thoughts you've had about, you know, things we've said where you're just like, you're wrong. Mostly because people were just like real unhappy that
we didn't love my mister.
Megan was my mister.
Mostly me.
And so, yeah, but it's okay. So anyway, you know, safe space for people to have their feelings. And then somebody wrote and said, you know what? I never want to hear you talk about cat masturbation again. And yet here I am saying I'm not talking about it. I don't even know what my segue is for what I was bringing that up.
This is the K-pop wreck of the week, and you're talking about catsturbation.
I don't know where we're going.
No, I'm not. I'm talking about how I'm not talking about it.
If you say catsturbation, you're talking about catsturbation.
I love the people who are like, wait, I've just popped in here to like listen to this product placement show and I don't know what catsturbation is.
They don't know what smooth my balls is. Like they're...
You know what? We cannot recap everything. Nor should we.
I will recap very shortly. Once upon a time, a company called Smooth My Balls reached out numerous times asking us if we were interested in sponsorship. I'm pretty sure it was just like a generic request that they probably blasted like 5 billion podcasts.
It was on Instagram.
Yeah. And I wrote them back what I thought was a very witty response, which they saw and did not respond to, where I was able to throw in the word taint and nuts and all sorts of other words. And I thought it was very funny.
All the double entendre you could think of.
Yeah,
like, it was really well done.
Yeah, I thought they would at least be like, ha ha, and there was nothing. So I was like, you can't call yourself smooth my balls
and not take a joke.
Be funny. Yeah. And then catsturbation is just, in a nutshell, once somebody in my house told me I had accidentally touched my cat's penis and I didn't. And they played a mean joke.
It was just a
nipple.
nipple.
I was really traumatized.
It was a nipple.
It was just a nipple.
And now it's time for our favorite segment, our K-pop
wreck of the week. What do you have for us, Megan?
I just snorted again.
I don't think I can get rid of that one. I just
snorted. Amy was just talking earlier about how she had to like edit out my laugh snorts because they just sound so weird. So I'm so sorry. Okay, yeah, I'm just going to give a K-pop rec. So this week, I am recommending Card. They are a co-ed K-pop group, and I've really enjoyed some of their songs in the past, but not all of them. But their comeback that they just came out with now is called Ring the Alarm, and I love it. I really love it. The group is made up of 2 men and 2 women. I love all of them. The one man, J-Sef, he just finished his military enlistment. So he's back in the group. And the other one is BM, or Big Matthew. He is a Korean American and he's 29. He's who we were referencing at the beginning of the podcast. He is a tall, muscled drink of water. And yeah, so I would definitely check out Ring the Alarm. The music video is great. The live performances are great. You can just tell that they're like so happy to be back together and performing. So I just feel like the vibe on stage is just happy and positive, and they seem like relaxed and confident. And I really can't get enough of watching them perform or listening to the song. So definitely check it out. Again, it is Ring the Alarm by Card, and that's spelled K-A-R-D.
If you enjoy our podcast, you have our patrons to thank, at least in part. Afternoona Delight Patreon allows us to keep creating content for y'all to enjoy. Thank you so much to everyone who is supporting us there. And not to brag, but our Patreon community is pretty awesome, and you can join at a tier that feels good to you. gain access to fun perks like K-drama posts, monthly Patreon-only bonus podcasts, and even a live K-drama support group on Zoom. Because we know firsthand what it's like to have no one to talk to about those crazy plot twists, amazing characters, and all those feelings. And look, no one should have to walk that walk alone. So learn more by visiting afternoonadelight.com. That's www.afternoonadelight.com. And hey, while you're on the website, you can check out Afternoona Delight podcast merch, find links to book recommendations, bop along to our K-pop recs, glow up your skin with K-merch recs, find all of our social media, and a link to our email so you can send us recommendations or feedback. And hey, while you're at it, why don't you pop over to Spotify or Apple Podcasts and leave us a 5-star review? It really helps with our discoverability. 감사합니다. So what is something a K-drama has sold you on that isn't product placement? You're just like, I see it, I want it.
I swear I did not know that his birthday was going to be today. But my answer for this was Lee Min-ho.
Can Lee Min-ho sponsor our podcast?
I mean, can he just sponsor my life?
I'm a ball back.
Happy birthday, Lee Min-ho. I got you a ball back.
I can't stop.
And I want to watch you push it with one hand.
I can't stop snorting.
Back and forth. I just want you to go in slow, concentric circles.
I mean, honestly, though, if Lee Min-ho came over next week for my birthday and vacuumed my house with the ball vac, I cannot think of anything sexier.
Yeah. Come over, play with the ball vac. Open invitation. Oh my god, I did not think that Dyson, look at Dyson. You are missing the opportunity here.
We would be great representatives.
Wholesome family content here.
No one is going to forget the ball back after listening to this. Okay, so something that I want is ironically not a man, but it's a red soju tent in Seoul, ideally in winter. Mm-hmm. Every time I see one, I'm like, I want to go. I want to go sit there. I want to eat street food. I want to drink soju. I want to be cold. And I want to be in that tiny chair. And it looks mildly uncomfortable and super fun.
I want a keypad for my door.
Yes.
I just love that. Let me just tell a really short story. I'm pretty sure I have not told this on the podcast, so let me know if I have. My husband and my son went to Home Depot because we're looking to get a keypad for our back door. And to get in. And so they're looking, and, my husband was like, I think this one looks good. And Dean's like, yeah, but, when you're done, you just have to make sure you wipe your prints. And we're like, and my husband was like, what do you mean? So my husband, or my son, by the way, is an 80-year-old man in a 11-year-old body. So my husband's like, well, what do you mean? So we have a keypad for our garage. And so he was like, well, what do you do when you type in the code to open up the garage door? And Dane's like, I always wipe it because anyone can come and they can dust for prints and find the code. And my husband was like,
oh my God.
So he's been wiping his prints off the garage door. I'm like,
that little genius.
What the heck? Where did you learn this?
Has he been listening to true crime podcasts at night? Why doesn't he have his garage code glove that just hangs by?
Stop! I can't stop snorting.
Or afterwards, just tell him to touch every button once.
Oh my god, he's. I just picture him with this little shirt, trying to wipe it clean. Okay, anyway, so that's.
Meanwhile, your daughter's passing out your coat to strangers on the street. Come over and play.
Well, my daughter has locked me out of my house before.
And ate goldfish and watched you through the window.
Yeah, she didn't give any shits. She wasn't going to let us in.
Okay, so I gave everyone a little homework because I know how much Amy likes to get an assignment. And I thought that what I could do is give you each a heavy hitter in the product placement world. And you could just do a little bit of deep diving and come back and report on what you learned. So obviously a very big one that I think that we all notice here in America, or, I'm in Australia, but, being American, is Subway feeling really overwhelmingly represented in K-drama. So, Amy, you took on this one. What did you learn?
I did. You know what? And funny story that I just remembered just now is when I was pregnant with my son. It's my second pregnancy. I am not a big deli sandwich person. I don't like processed lunch meat. I never have. But when I was pregnant with Connor, I craved Subway sandwich, and I didn't get any meat. So I just got a vegetarian sandwich.
Too.
But all I wanted was the oil and vinegar on it. I just wanted whatever was on the sandwich. I wanted it soaked in oil and vinegar, and then pickles were my thing too. So I think I just had a big vinegar craving when I was pregnant with him. But for some reason, Subway's oil and vinegar just soaked all over veggies and bread was what would do it for me. So that was my big thing. So Subway, you were really good to me during my pregnancy, and so it's very endearing to me to see you in every single K-drama almost. All right. So I think Leah and I came across some of the same stuff in our researching, so I'm going to try not to repeat stuff that was in our intro here. But according to an article from 2021 by Seth Berkman in the New York Times, as Korean dramas have become more popular with international audiences, global brands have pushed to be a part of the action. And no company has pushed harder than Subway, which has grown into the world's largest fast food chain by store count since its founding in 1965 in Bridgeport, Connecticut. I did not know that Subway had been around longer than I had. That was kind of surprising to me. So it's around, and it's bigger than it's ever been. So, like we've talked about before, some shows have been criticized for using excessive product placement, with some viewers claiming that it disrupts it. I don't feel like it does, but an example of this comes from Jae-ha Kim, who is a journalist for My City's very own Chicago Tribune, who also reviews K-dramas. She's quoted in this New York Times article, and I can't believe that I'm going to call out my favorite drama, but Leah already brought it up. And I feel like I have to bring it up again because it's just, it's supposed to be this really serious scene where Kim Shin is stopping a man from committing suicide, and he does so with a Subway sandwich. He hands the man the sandwich, and there's more to it than just the sandwich. It's not the sandwich itself that keeps him from taking his life, but the fact that we're able to shoehorn product placement into really emotional parts of the dramas.
I was so confused in watching that. I don't even think I fully understood the product placement the first time I saw it. I just was so confused at what was happening. I don't think I was oh yeah, that's product placement. I was still kind of a newbie.
Oh yeah. That was our second drama.
This is very tonally odd. I don't fully understand what's happening. And there's a foot long. And then that's the end of the scene. I think I was thinking too deeply. I was what's going on right now that I'm missing? And then later it was no, that's literally
right. It's just product placement, and I don't even think about it now.
And in Vans, when they what Megan was just saying with the artfully shot Vans shot, after he saved the heroine from falling off the building after the escape from hell, and they're okay, Vans, this is your moment. In Goblin, where they okay, so
Subway, this is your
definitely
moment.
We're gonna be Subway, yeah, Subway saves lives, and Subway's yes.
Subway shows up so much in Goblin. We see Reaper eating at Subway at one point. I remember that scene in Crash Landing on You at the end when Yoon Suri is finally going out to eat with her employees and stuff like that. And they have this big company meal at Subway. And it's this really happy scene where she's, getting into her life back in South Korea. And there's that Subway scene, and
she's a billionaire.
And she's at Subway. Right? I know, and it's this very poignant scene. And I have not seen this one, but Leah, you can speak to this one. This is another one that showed up in the article, is that in Memories of the Alhambra, in the game, gamers could collect tokens and weapons inside the game by going to Subway in the game.
Which feels very, forward thinking.
Yeah.
I feel that is a way of the future, is these augmented reality games where you then go into...
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the thing is Subway is that's why I was so surprised that Subway has been around since 1965, because it really has been changing with the times and evolving and leaning into itself too. Like whether or not you are a Subway fan, I think you have to hand it to the brand for leaning into the awareness that yes, they are in so many dramas. Like how are they doing this? They are actually introducing new sandwiches with their own mini drama on YouTube called Some Way.
Holy shit.
I know. So perhaps, and it's a romance. Like it's a girl who goes to Subway because the guy she likes works there. And in each little mini episode, they introduce a new sandwich.
Didn't John Oliver talk about this?
Did he?
Wasn't this the one that John Oliver talked about? He was talking about the product placements in K-dramas. There was a clip I saw, and I'm almost positive he showed a little clip of this. It's hysterical.
I never watched it, but I did hear, I remember that he talked about, we should have probably looked at the John Oliver stuff, but we didn't.
It's so funny.
I didn't realize that. That's awesome. And now I think that we have a new drama to watch. I think we have to watch Some Way and throw that into a pod somewhere. So yeah, so I mean like, yes, Subway is everywhere. Like, I think it's one of the most prevalent things in K-dramas, but I do love the self-awareness of the company. Colin Clark, who is the director of Subway in South Korea, has like said that sales skyrocket from, you know, like the day before a product is shown in a K-drama to the day after, that it's like unbelievable, like what happens with sales.
So it works.
It does. You know, we're children who grew up with TV that had commercials, right? Like we were around before there was streaming and even before there was cable where, you know, there were channels that didn't have commercials and stuff like that. And so I remember having to sit through the same things, you know, like wake up for Saturday morning cartoons and I have to sit through the same commercials like every time and you get used to them and you memorize them.
Puppy,
and you...
pound puppy and me.
You remember the songs, like, you know, any like Doublemint gum commercials, you know, stuff like that.
Puppy surprise. There could be 3 or 4 or 5.
Or like, I don't know why I get like the Mentos song in my head now. Fresh goes better, Mentos freshness. Anyway.
The Fresh Maker.
But when you aren't allowed to do that, like that was really surprising to me to find out that even in free television that there was no advertising space allowed, like during the programming, that there's no commercial space, then naturally you have to come up with a way to still get that advertising revenue. And product placement has taken off so much so that even now that they are allowed to put commercials in with all that fun math, I don't think product placement's going to go away because it's too ubiquitous now. You know, like I think that we would be lost without it. If there wasn't a scene in a Subway in a K-drama and Subway restaurant, not like underground train, I don't know what I would do with myself. So there you go. Subway.
I mean, we didn't even get into this because that's a whole nother ballgame, but in a lot of K-pop music videos, there's product placement. There's like Coke product placement, a lot of soda product placement. So it's like, it's everywhere. And I do think there's like also probably some like mental aspect of seeing like a character that you love and trust promoting a product. Like Kim Go-eun in Eternal Monarch. I was like, dude, she's like a really smart woman. And look at her. She likes this face bomb. So maybe I should get it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It works. I mean, it's that celebrity testimonial, right?
Yeah.
Even though they can never say the name of it.
And they make things look good. I mean, speaking of that, I'm going to talk about Vans, the shoes, not the vehicle. Brothers Paul Van Doren and Jim Van Doren started the Vans sneaker company in 1966 in California, and they quickly became popular with skateboarders because of their rugged makeup and their sticky rubber sole. And obviously it's now a billion-dollar company several times over. Vans are everywhere in K-dramas. They're also everywhere in K-pop. I mean, you watch a dance practice video, and half the time there's going to be at least 1 or 2 guys wearing and women wearing Vans. So yeah, Vans are everywhere in K-dramas, from Harry's Red Authentics in My Roommate is a Gumio to the, you know, aforementioned Lee Yun's Vans in Tail the Nine-Tailed to Park Seo-joon's checkerboard print in Fight for My Way. I personally am a lover of Vans. I own about 5 pairs, maybe more. Do I skateboard? No. Do I love my Vans? Yes. I do regularly, you know, peruse the website for the style changes, colors, and patterns. And I will say I did a little bit of research on Vans, obviously, for this podcast, and my Facebook is now just flooded with Vans ads. I just can't. They're really trying to make me buy another pair, which I do not need. And then, does anyone want to guess the most iconic Vans in a K-drama? That would be, drum roll, the white Vans in Squid Game. So if anyone has seen Squid Game, they have, the green jumpsuits and they have the white slip-on Vans. And sales for those slip-on white Vans catapulted 7,800% since the show's release, according to Seoul Supplier. So for the record, those white Vans go for about $60 US. And another fun fact about Vans is that they're kind of like the cat of shoes. If you throw them, they always land sole down.
What?
It was really big on TikTok recently, where you would just throw the Vans and they would all land.
Did you try it?
I didn't, but
please
don't believe everything you see on TikTok.
I don't, but I read it.
When this releases, you post an Instagram reel showing you do the challenge.
But apparently that's people. I read a bunch of articles, but
I love we've come at Megan. She's like, I don't know. I just thought it was funny.
No, I mean, if you think of the physics of a sneaker, though, it's more likely to land on its sole than to land on the foothole.
I mean, this is a PhD that we can work on at some point.
What do you call where you put the foot?
The foothole.
What do you mean where you put the foot? The foot.
That's what I said. I said foothole, and Megan laughed.
Yeah. I know, but it was just funny.
I don't know. I'm just going to make it dirty if I talk about it, so I'm going to skip it.
Ball back.
Okay. So, so I'm going for Samsung. Because if you aren't using a Samsung Galaxy Z phone, can you even call yourself an Opa? Not if you want to be a hero in a K-drama. So from Good Boy and Startup to Lee Yun, the ancient Gumio from Tale of the Nine-Tailed. Look, they both come from different centuries, heck, even different realms, but they are united in their love for this immersive phone experience that you can literally fold up and stick in your pocket. Then head on over to Itaewon Class, and what do you know? Same phone. So Samsung controlled 67% of South Korea's smartphone market in 2021, according to the analyst firm Counterpoint Research. The iPhone is a competitor, but it has yet to reduce Samsung's market share in its home country to under 60%. BTS is also on the Samsung payroll, with the oldest member, tuna enthusiast and giant shoulder owner Kim Suk-jin on the record as saying, Samsung tortures aliens to make smartphones. So, maybe we should pitch podcast sponsorship opportunities to Samsung using Megan as bait, and her alien heroes could start to be tortured for their advanced phone technologies. But look, phones are actually one of the more organic product placements in my opinion, because so many dramas are actually driven by realistic plot points linked to phones, from text messages that are sent to you for an entire year to encourage you to carry on while your true love is doing God knows what in North Korea, to being a cold and aloof CEO who has you being his fake girlfriend, even though he's dying to change your relationship status. But outside of crash landing on you and business proposal, stop and think about all the times a phone plays a pivotal role in a drama. So in some ways, it's kind of like a chicken and an egg situation here. And I feel like this is really a product placement symbiotic relationship made in heaven.
Absolutely.
And I will say, so I do not have a Samsung phone. I have a different brand. And every time I see that fold open phone in a K-drama, I'm like, that's a fucking nice phone with that giant screen, and I want it.
I do covet it.
I do too. I want to see how this screen goes so flat.
I know.
And perfect.
I know. It's beautiful. It really is.
Okay. Well, hopefully we have, expanded our own bottom lines today by demonstrating the value that we can offer any potential sponsorship from the big, heavy ball sacks that really fit well in the hand.
Ball vac.
Sorry.
You actually said ball sack.
I did. I'm sorry. But you
said big heavy ball sack.
It's like the middle of the day there too. You don't have an excuse. It's 11:30 at night here. I'm the one who should be delirious. It's like midday.
No,
and
it's
you're
1:30. I'm gonna go make a sandwich after this.
Megan and I are going to bed.
Yeah.
This is just my default.
But honestly, we would be awesome sponsorship readers on the podcast. Like, give us your ads. We will read them. Basically, what we are saying is we are not above product placement.
No.
No, I want
every 90 seconds to be sponsored.
Sell me out. I'm just kidding.
Sell me out. I'm going to tattoo,
He's got a Samsung tattoo on her neck.
Maxim just like right, on my forehead.
Yeah, I want like a tramp stamp with Maxim coffee. So, you know what? Everyone listening, you can say you knew us when after we make it so big with all the product placement that we're going to get, obviously, because how are you not going to listen to this and think, oh my God.
All of us wearing our CELLRETURN masks, we're going to look like Daft Punk.
And then I'm going to take it off and people are going to be like, are you
a baby?
Daughter? Mama. Oh my God, like what was it? A Flower of Evil.
Yeah, Flower of Evil.
Oh my. Wow, well this went off the rails, and like you said, it's not even, although I will say in my own defense, I had to get up at 1:50 this morning to do meetings because I'm like working remotely while I'm in Australia. So I was up, from like 2 to 3 doing meetings, and then I couldn't fall back asleep.
With Jarrah sleeping in the room with you?
No, Poppy. Okay, so I did some bed hopping last night, so I slept with my daughter for a while, did a meeting with her. Then I got into watching BTS doing cake decorating because let me tell you, that's a fascinating tale at like 3 a.m. So I spent about 2.5 hours watching Jimin and Yoongi doing all sorts of adventures together, mostly making cakes. And then I slept for like an hour and a half and then woke up and started my day in new meetings, and that was in a room that my son was sleeping in, which had been a room my husband was in, but he had to get up at 5 to start meetings. So, like really super relaxing.
Yeah, I was like, what the hell?
Yeah, well, Nick and I are both working remotely, so we both start our days I'm often going in the middle of the night. He usually starts at about 5 during the week.
Ugh.
But we will be going on proper vacation in another, I'm going to podcast one more time with y'all, and then you're going to do a twofer while I'm on actual vacation. And you'll be missing me, I know.
We will. We will be missing ball back talk, for sure.
I can send audio just saying,
ball back and catsturbation.
Both of those things.
I can just copy and paste from this one and drop it right into the next one.
We kind of let our Redbubble store go where we had Afternoona Delight merch. And we've been talking about, we are going to do some fun things in the future and maybe bring some stuff back. And maybe we should do like a little bleach kit just for people who've they've heard enough. They just want to spritz some bleach.
Or like the Amy panic button.
Yeah.
Sprinkle us with holy water.
Just know my parents are proud.
Yeah, my parents are proud.
And my dad occasionally does listen to this, so just realize that if I let him listen to this, imagine how I just I don't even know.
We're sorry, Mr. Leah's dad.
Sorry, Mr. Leah.
It's okay. He knows. He knows.
Right? They know what we're like.
Yeah. They made us.
It's their fault.
I honestly don't think my parents have any idea what goes on in the podcast spaces. That's okay. I'd like to leave it. It's like my dad who buys all my books and doesn't read a single word.
Oh, see, that's great.
So cute.
Good job, Dad. Good job, Amy's dad.
Okay, well, on that note, I'm going to go make a sandwich.
Okay, you do that.
I'm going to get ready for bed.
Yeah, I'm going to bed.
Okay, sleep tight, my friends.
All right. Well, anyway, till next time.
Happy birthday, Lee Min Ho.
Yeah.
Happy birthday, Lee Min Ho.
Annyeong.
Kamsahamnida. Thank you for listening to Afternoona Delight. Where can you find us outside the pod? Head on over to afternoonadelight.com. That's AFTERNOONADELIGHT You'll find links to all our social media, our book recs, K-pop and K-skincare recs, and if you want even more Afternoona Delight, because really who doesn't, you can join our Patreon, where you can choose the patron level that's right for you. Join in daily K-drama conversations, listen to bonus podcast episodes just for patrons, and participate in our monthly live K-drama support group via Zoom. We can't wait for you to be a part of the community. Until next time, annyeong!